Okay, it's here. The new show brought to you by Kloppzone. It's the big LFC top 10 chart show breaking down the LFC form chart for this week. Remember, when you're in the building, make sure you're hitting subscribe on your way, and that's the only way we want to thank you. Just thank us by hitting that like button, hitting subscribe. That's the only way we want you to do it, because we're going to bring you this form chart show every single week. So let's see who is with us. Yo, Ash. Yes, Tiga is back in the building. Hope you're well. We're going to break this down, going through the top 10 Kloppzone official players, the form chart. So at 10 could be like Mo Salah. We don't know. We're going to break it down, see if you agree with us. Make sure if you're watching to get in the comments, let us know if you agree with our choices. If you disagree with our choices, let us know what you think. But as you can see up here in the graphic, look right here on the right-hand side, you can see that last week's top 5 was in at number 1. Luis Diaz was moving up last week into the top spot. In at number 2, we had Bobby Firmino, who was 1 the week before because he had a storming week the week before. He dropped to 2 last week in place of Diaz. Harvey Elliott rising up the charts. Fabio with his wonder goal came out of nowhere to take that 4th spot. And 5th was the Egyptian King, who's been a bit like Casper the Ghost, but he's been getting the stats. He's been getting the assist. So let's see how we're getting on, because today is the LFC Big Top 10 show. Let's go. Intro gets me every time. And ladies and gentlemen, Luke, who has joined us in the building today, is Mr. James the Brain, with his fancy new background and layout. Mr. James the Brain, how are you doing today? This is the LFC Big Top 10 show, brought to you by Kloppzone, sponsored by nobody but Kloppzone. It's going to be a great show. We're going to break it down, aren't we? How are you going to do a top 10 when we haven't had 10? Look, there's going to be a lot of fallers. That's all we're going to say. There's going to be a lot of fallers in the show. But James the Brain, you excited to get going?
Yeah. I'm all good. Shame about yesterday's result, but we move.
People, this guy wasn't meant to be on the show today, right? He wasn't meant to be on the show, but I found him lurking in the backstage area when I came on to do the live. So James the Brain is on with us. This is the big LFC top 10 chart show. So James, I think without further ado, unless there's anything you want to say,
No, I won't mention about the murals because it's really not worth the airtime, I think.
It is not worth the airtime. Hopefully they get patched up really soon. That's not making any kind of spot in our official top 10 chart this week. But let's get into the big top 10 form. Woo! In at number 10 this week is the Portuguese maestro, Fabio Carvalho. Down 6, though, James, from last week, who was at number 4. So Carvalho in at number 10, but it's hard, isn't it? Dead leg. He went off of a dead leg, so he's dropped down 6 places this week.
Yeah.
Was this the week for him that you thought, James, he could make a big statement and try and secure a first-team place?
Yeah, I think so. But like we said, he went off with a dead leg. He seemed a little bit lost yesterday. I think Onana and Iwobi had got sort of Fabinho, Elliott, and Carvalho's like cards marked yesterday, and they just didn't have the freedom that Klopp probably wanted them to have. I understand why he wanted to give them a run out, because we can't, like we saw yesterday, we can't always keep relying on James Milner. But I think maybe the game was probably not the right occasion. But we move on.
We do move on. Do we have James Milner in the charts? Maybe he's there, maybe he's not this week. But what we do want to do is big up our followers. Dane Sadler, yo! Latif Aziz, hello everyone. Hello Latif, nice to have you in the build. We finally bought a midfielder. Yes, we did. Do you know Klopp in real
We
life?
wish.
He wishes he knew me in real life, because I would take him to every beer keller in town and we'd have the greatest time. But unfortunately, no, I don't know Klopp. No. So, Klopp, if you're watching, holler at me. We'll go to Beer Keller. We'll have a few, what do they call them? Brewskis, as Riley Foster taught us. A few brewskis or whatever skis they are. We'll get down to term. But that is in at number 10, Fabio Carvalho. Let's see then who is in at number 9. At number 9, moving up 2 places, Fabinho. Fabinho in at number 9. Everyone might be thinking, Fabinho up 2 places, what's happening? But Fabinho's been moved up 2 places purely for the fact that he had an injury, he wasn't featuring much, he came in and he's kind of started picking up. Plus, people have just dropped down. So that's probably a good reason for Fabinho to move up there. Is Fabinho half the man he was last season right now, James? Do you think he needs to rest or pick up his performances? What do you think needs to happen?
I think it's a bit of both. I think he needs probably a bit of a rest, and he needs to pick up his performances a little bit. But I also think maybe yesterday, probably again, a bit like Carvalho and Elliott, he was given sort of the senior responsibility in the midfield yesterday, and I think he struggled a lot yesterday. I think if we'd have had maybe Henderson in there, I think the performance from Fabinho would have been probably a lot better. But he's just to be honest, the whole team's in a massive dip at the moment.
Yeah, it really is. Andy Vernari saying he's been awful this season. Fabinho over Carvalho. Have you lost your damn minds, people? Then we've got Miles in the building again. Big up, Miles. Big up everybody who's in the building. Would you have put Carvalho over Fabinho, or do you think Carvalho kind of missed his chance this week, James? That's why he's dropped down. He's obviously going to be injured now. He may be out for the next one. Do you think it was a bit of a poor performance from Carvalho this week?
I mean, based on the Newcastle game, you'd think he would be a bit higher, but because obviously he had a bit of a bad performance yesterday. To be honest, I don't envy you trying to pick this top 10 this week, because the past 2 games that we've played, there's been no, apart from maybe a couple of players, there's been no standout performers, and it's getting a bit harder now.
Yeah, it really is. It was difficult to pick. It was actually difficult to pick. I was going through them, and there's a few players that dropped in, dropped out. Does Trent get in there just because he's Trent? So it has been difficult this week, but that was in at number 9, Fabinho. Let's take a look who's in at number 8. In at number 8 is the Egyptian King Mohammed Salah, down 3 places from last week. He was in 5th place last week. Mo Salah, Casper, as I'm starting to call him right now, the friendly ghost, because he does have a smile on his face all the time, but nevertheless, he's still a ghost, James the Brain. He's missing. He's not turning up. No. He's got 350k a week, and he's like, what's his name? Che Guevara. He's gone missing. He's run away with the loot. He's not come back. We need Mo, don't we, this season more than ever?
Yeah. He got the 2 assists He was credited with the second assist for the Newcastle game. But Salah's a bit of a strange one because he was like you said, he was a bit of a ghost yesterday. Now, whether that's purely because of the position that Klopp wants him to play now, he doesn't seem to have as much freedom or not. I don't know, but it's like Latif just said. By Salah's high standards, he has been poor, and everybody's expecting Salah to hit the ground running, and unfortunately he's not. But we know what the Egyptian king's capable of, and I don't think it'll be a permanent thing. I think once he gets his form back, once he starts getting a couple of goals, I think we'll see the same old Salah again.
I think we will. We miss Salah running down the wing. Please, please, please come back, the Egyptian king. Even though he has the most chances created, he's still not being himself. It's so true. He's creating so many chances, but he's just not looking sharp. He's not looking like he can beat a player for pace, for skill. Yes, he's getting in maybe the right positions, but still, it's hard, isn't it? He's lost 1v1s against Robinson, Mitchell, Malacia, Target, Mikolenko. These are players he should be eating for breakfast. He's not the same, says Miles. He's so not the same. Bogdan in the building. Mo is going to score from next game, 2 per game at least. I thought this, Bogdan. He was my captain this week. I thought, you know what? Mo's going to score at some point, but really, I don't know if Mo Salah's going to score. I'm not sure, but that is our number 8 this week. Mo Salah down 3. Let's see who's in at number 7. In at number 7, Kostas, the Greek sauce, Samika.
Kostas, it looks like he needs to go for a very long nap every time we see him.
Kostas looks, James, like he's been raving every single time he's on the field. I'm like, whatever Kostas is doing, I want to be his wingman.
He went to the boxing last night at the M&S Bank Arena, and there's just a video of him, and he just looks like he's not slept in about 6 months.
I think it's just how he is. It's just like the eye sockets are just so deep, so they look so dark. It's like me, like, look, but mine's literally because I've not slept in 6 months. But Kostas Tsimikas, interesting that we've put him in at number 7. He's moved up 5 places. I've put him there, James, because back in the starting lineup, or say back in, I said he's got a chance in the starting lineup. Over Robbo, I thought he was positive. I thought he got in the right positions. He was trying to make things happen. Yes, his end product wasn't amazing, but he was trying. He was taking shots when you want Robbo to take shots. He was crossing the ball when Robbo should cross. He was making the right decisions, but the execution wasn't quite there this game. But in at 7, I think that's fair for Kostas.
Yeah, I think overall, I think he had a good game yesterday. I think there was a few occasions where Damari Gray got the better of him, but he, based on his urgency to get forward and trying to create things. Yes, admittedly, his and Trent's corners yesterday were woeful. Why they kept aiming so far for the back post, I'll never understand. But it is what it is, isn't it? It's nice. It's nice now to see that. As much as I love Andy Robertson, it's nice to see now that he knows his place isn't secured in the team. It was the same with Sadio last season when Diaz came in. This is what
it's
we need.
It's a bit like James, isn't it? No Statman Jacks here. Your place isn't secured.
No.
You look like Robbo.
I think that's what it's going to be about now. Is I think once everybody's back fit, and it's going to be, we're going to need players pushing each other more and more to, because I think as much as I love Salah, I think he might be getting a little bit complacent, thinking, well, my place is always guaranteed in the starting lineup, and we need maybe somebody like Harvey Elliott or Fabio Carvalho to come in and go, actually, Mo, your position, your place isn't guaranteed in the team. And I think once everybody's back fit and firing, then I think there'll be a bit more healthy competition.
Yeah, I think there will be more healthy competition. I think that's what it's all about. see, the way Liverpool play, they rely so much on physicality. They rely so much on this mentality monsters. Keep pushing. We will fight harder than anybody else. We will do this. Yeah.
Intensity.
Intensity. Yeah. Come on. Read my book. But what is happening is that intensity now has just died off. We're tired. We're so shattered. So now the thing that we rely on most, which is intensity, which is hard work, which is being relentless, other teams are managing to do that ahead of us, and it's not looking very positive for Liverpool. But anyway, that is Kostas Tsimikas in at number 7. Let's look who's in at number 6.
In 6.
In 6, Virgil van Dijk. Up 2 places from last week. We're finally, James, getting the big man somewhere near the standard that we need him at. He's not been the Virgil we know, but he's not had the protection we know. But last game, he looked a lot more composed. He was making the right decisions. He was trying to step into challenges and make challenges, which was nice, not seeing him back away so much. And he was winning so many crosses from corners in the box. Attacking-wise, he was dominant. A much improved game for Virgil, seeing him move up 2 places in the chart this week.
Yeah, I think both Virgil and Gomez had a very good game yesterday. I know there's been a lot of talk on Twitter about that tackle on Onana. He should have been sent off. But when you actually, if people stopped looking at just the still images and actually look at the game full speed, yes, I will admit it was probably a bit reckless from Virgil, but I don't think he had any malice in the tackle. He just mistimed it enough, and people are taking the stills from the game instead of actually looking at the tackle properly.
Yeah, it was a case of, yes, it looked horrible. Still shots look horrible. Slow-mos look horrible. But in real time, there was no malice whatsoever. He's going for the ball. Virgil's not that type of player. He's a friendly. You always see him laughing and joking with people when the ball goes out for corners.
Yeah.
You see him shaking people's hands. So, yeah, Virgil, we still love you, bro. And yes, he had a very rough start. He needs a week out, says Bogdan. A great point. We've got Mr. Frankie in the building. Alex Frank, big up yourself. Do you think Liverpool will stand the chance at top 4? We better damn stand the chance at the top 4, because if we don't, I'm telling you now, Kloppzone ain't going to be happy anymore. Kloppzone might be tempted to just be called Zone. That's how angry I'll be if we don't get top 4. We shouldn't even be talking about should we get top 4. We should be talking about, is the title chase still on? But we all know where that conversation might lead. So that was Virgil van Dijk in at number 6. Let's look who we have in at number.
In 5.
In 5, it's the man with the tats, with the curly meat me at McDonald's hair. It's Harvey Elliott, down 2 places from last week, who was at 3. I think maybe, James, he could be a little fortunate to be in at number 5 this week. He didn't have a great game, but I've given him a bye because he wasn't played in the correct position. He wasn't utilised the way he should have been utilised. He was asked to play in a midfield too at one point in the game, which I thought was disgraceful. So I've kept him at number 5, a dip in performance levels, but still, Harvey's probably my first name right now on the midfield team sheet.
Yeah, I think so. I think, yes, him and Carvalho probably didn't have a very good game yesterday, but the link-up play between Trent, Harvey, and Mo Salah yesterday down that right-hand side was really good to see. You know, there's quite a good chemistry between the 3 of them. They're giving, going, and credit to Elliott, he was trying to make something happen, and it just wasn't happening for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. The true point here from Latif Aziz, I don't understand why he was playing a double pivot with Fab. I don't know why, Latif. I really don't know why. But look, that's Klopp's prerogative. If Klopp wants to play Elliott in a double pivot, look what he did to Genie. Look what he did to Curtis Jones. Look what he's going to do to Carvalho and Elliott. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it is. Sean, hey, I was pinning that up, James the Brain. Sean Dock in the building.
What's good,
How are you
Sean?
doing, Sean Dock? Hope you're well, especially after yesterday's result, Sean Dock. But, Sean, it's nothing that we haven't seen coming. It's what we've been trying to tell people, but they don't want to believe us, Sean. But, oh, they will soon. Oh, they will soon. Because in at number 4, after Elliott in at number 5, is... And for Joey Gomez. I love this guy. I'm not going to lie. Up 6 places, 10 last week. Joe Gomez is slowly but surely creeping his way up the charts, getting that nice comfy spot. Do you know, like when you get a new partner and you get a new girlfriend, and then do you know when you go to like the mum and dad's house and you go a few times, the first time you're like, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. Would you like me to do the dishes, sir? And then the third time you're like, oh, come on, go and get me a drink. Get me something out the fridge. This is what Gomez is doing now. Gomez was all, yes, sir, thank you, sir, 3 bags full, sir. But now Gomez, his feet are under the table. He's getting acquired with whoever's around him. He's looking like shades of, I'm not going to say he's there, but we're seeing shades of James 18-19 Joe Gomez. Do you think he'll keep that spot this season, or do you think Matip and Kanate are just going to steal it back?
I mean, I think Gomez has got that position, and I think it's going to take a lot for Matip and Kanate to come back in the team. You know, I was all for giving Gomez an opportunity. You know, I still think he is our future, and you know, and people are probably going to crucify me for this, but I don't care. But I still think Joe Gomez is England's best centre back, and I think I think if he keeps the performances up he's showing at the moment, then he's got a really good chance of going to the World Cup.
He really has. Was that a trump then, James, or a cat horn? I think James just trumped live on the stream. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I apologise for James's trumping skills. He's got this flatulation problem where he drinks too much fizzy pop in the morning. So he's always popping somewhere. Good morning, Beats by Des, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the man that creates the intros, that creates the outros, that beats upon beats for Kloppzone. When you look at these player reveals that we do, guess who does them? My guy, Beats by Des. Make sure you're following Mike Mendes, also a hype station master at Kloppzone. Good morning, boys. Rough result yesterday. Mo was Casper. I'm not even saying invisible. He's Casper. That's his name, Mike. Casper the friendly ghost, because he always has a smile. I'll take the hate again, Mike. I'll take the hate with you. We've all said it a little consistently, and he'd be back. Bit more consistency. That's it from Joe Gomez. That's all we need. Feeling a little tender, says Sean Dock. I know what you mean. Jesus, that never happened when I started dating. Never meet the parents. Well, do you know, some of us are fortunate. In case you're watching, my partner's parents, like, I love you so much. Some of us are fortunate. Some of you not so much. I've heard what James has been saying about his missus' parents. Like, oh, it's shocking. I'm not repeating what he's been saying. It's just disgraceful. Listen, James's partner, James, you want some of the things he said? I had to put him in his place for you, so I apologise right now.
Shut up, you're going to be shot. Says the one who forgot to take his AirPods out of his pocket before his missus put them in the washing machine and then blames her for it.
That is her fault. Fair play, Beats, top stuff. There we go, top stuff. Sean Dock, loving the Beats. It seems that Joe lost feeling for ball. He had a few shots in the last 3 games. Everyone go wide and high. Look, Joe Gomez still ain't got a Liverpool goal. I'm not expecting Joe Gomez's shots to go on target. If he hits one on target, then I'll be like, whoa, okay.
But with Joe Gomez, though, it was his header that led to the winner against Newcastle. So, you know, he's getting himself up there. So, you know, I still think, like I said, Gomez is England's best centre back when he's fully fit.
I agree with you. Joey G fighting for a place at the World Cup now, but Liverpool's form's not going to help him,
No.
which is upsetting for Gomez because his form's improving, but Liverpool's form's getting worse, which won't play in his favour. Ben Stiller got nothing on me. I've had some dreadful horror stories with meeting the parents, says Sean Dock. Sean Dock, we need to hear some of these horror stories. I'm going to get some off you. We want horror stories. That's what we need, because I'll tell you all James's about his in-laws. Some of the words he used.
I hate Fantasy Premier League.
James the Brains Fantasy Premier League not going well at the minute, but we'll get into that on Prem Heads. We'll all laugh at James. Bottom of the Kloppzone League. Disgusting results from James. He's not enjoying his time, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Mohamed El Hawaj is saying Gomez showed up really with Kanate and Matic on 100%. Joe Gomez is showing up slowly but story. Slowly but story. I don't know what that means. Slowly but surely, Joe Gomez is turning up. So let's keep behind him. Let's keep backing him, and let's see what we can do. Moses Caicedo, goal for Bolton. Surprise, surprise.
Don't mention that man's name, Mike. I took him out of my Fantasy Premier League and he scored.
This is golden. This is James. Tell me next week who you take out so I can put them in, okay? Right. That was number 4, Joey Gomez. Let's see who's in at number 3. The Colombian hot sauce. Down 2 places, but it's still the maestro. It's Luis Fernando Diaz. My player of the season so far, Luis Fernando Diaz, the only player that's making things look like they're going to happen on the field. He looks hungry. He's getting those shots off. He's come so close in that game, hitting the inside of the top corner.
He hit the post twice yesterday, I think.
Yeah, hit the post twice. He's electric, isn't he, Diaz? This season, he's not changed his game. He's still playing with freedom, but he's also working so hard for the team. How can you not love this guy, James?
Exactly. You know, we said this, that we saw glimpses of what Diaz was capable of last season when he'd only just arrived and he was still getting used to like the style of play and the language barrier. He's had a full pre-season with LFC, and you know he's creating chances. He's just, you know, like he was unlucky to hit the post. I think we said twice yesterday, you know, and I think without probably Pickford's heroics yesterday, he probably could have had a couple of goals.
Yeah, we've got Latif here saying he's been unlucky in front of goal, but I expect him to finish those chances. He reminds me of Robben, of how he cuts inside and beat. It's so true. We've never seen that of a right-sided player as well, who you know he's cutting inside every time. Every single time you know that Diaz is going to cut inside, but they can't deal with it because he's so good at timing that touch to draw somebody in and then just flick it away from them. And that is so hard to do. This is why he's so precious to Liverpool this season. If anyone's going to make it happen, it's going to be him. Always seems to get the shot off as well. Our best player this 6 games, 100%. He's player of the season so far. Should we get a crossbar counter for Diaz? He's been hitting them since the Fulham game. Do you know what? He'll get closer. He's got goals as well this season. Let's not forget. We might need a counter. We might do. But I like this comment from Chambo. Chambo's in the building. And no, it's not Alex in Wonderland. It's Luke Chambers. We don't talk about the other Chamberlain. Where is this comment, Luke? There it is. You know, the squad hasn't changed much. So what is our problem? Did Mane, Origi, Minamino make such a difference? No, they didn't. Because I'll tell you what the problem is. Liverpool are a team that rely on relentless pressure. Liverpool are a team that rely on mentality, on doing more than another team would do, being first to those second balls. That's what Liverpool relied on for so many years. But now, because we've not upgraded, because we've not recycled and we've got players to come on and give other players a rest, we're tired. It's as pure and simple as that. We are tired, so we can't play with that intensity anymore. We can't be first to those drop balls. We can't do all those things. So that's what's upsetting. We just can't do it. So
No.
I don't know what else to say, James the Brain. I don't know what else to say. All I can say is let's take a look. Why is he on my screen? Get him off my screen right now. Let's take a look. Who is in at number 2? Luis Diaz was in at number 3. Let's take a look. Who's in? In at 2. Si, senor. Pass the ball to Bobby and he will score. Bobby
He's back.
Firmino, James the Brain, Bobby is back with a bang like brap. He is effortlessly coming, slotting in, making things happen. His work rate's so infectious. And this is what we talk about. He's fresh, he's fit. He was out last season, let's not forget, for a big amount of time. So he's fresh. He's playing with intensity again. He's pressing, he's charging down, he's doing everything he can. But James, tell them about Bobby. Pin up some comments while I go and answer the door because this delivery man is doing my head in. So I'll be back in just a second. But please, tell everybody about Firmino, have a look at the comments, and have a chat with the fans.
I mean, Bobby's doing what we know Bobby's capable of. You know, he came in yesterday and he created a lot yesterday. You know, admittedly we didn't score, but I think without Bobby yesterday, it could have probably been a lot worse. You know, he's come in, he spent last season injured. You know, Nunez has come in, Jota's in. Bobby knows his place isn't secure in the team, and he's coming in and he's putting the performances in, and he's showing to Jurgen Klopp that he can still be relied on. So let's have a look. Right, Bobby is showing that with the competition for his place, he's playing his socks off. Exactly, Sean. You know, Bobby knows that his place isn't secure in this team, and he's proving to everybody that his career at Liverpool isn't over. There's still the best from Bobby.
James, I'm back. Hey guys, I'm back. When we talk about Bobby Firmino, all this criticism he got last season, in my opinion, when Salah and Mane were away at AFCON, I thought Bobby and Jota had an amazing partnership. I thought they played so well. He got injured, was out the team, couldn't get back in the team, never really featured then after that. He's getting a bit of a rough deal of it because I don't feel like his performance levels have been so poor. I just feel like everybody thinks, oh, because Mane was so good, you see how I caught a fly then? Because Mane was so good, because Firmino isn't in the team, they don't want him back in the team instead of giving him a chance. He's had a chance, and look what he's doing now.
No, exactly. You know, we saw yesterday with Bobby that he came on for Carvalho, and he was in midfield, and everything I noticed from, like, as soon as the second half started, everything was coming through him. You know, he dropped him behind Nunez, and like he was the creative spark that we missed in the first half. I think with that, like we can all keep going on about it, but without Pickford's heroics yesterday, Bobby could have had a couple as well. So, yeah. I've said this
Oh,
for
you
so
should
long.
get him off my screen. I've said this. I've said, oh, you know, Karen's back in the building. Luke Chambers is saying, why don't we give Bobby the attacking midfield role? James has said this. I don't know if you just heard him say that. Bobby, when he came on yesterday, I never thought Bobby should get that midfield role. I've always thought, no, leave Bobby in a 9 because he's so good at drawing defenders out, dropping into the pocket, and doing things that way. But yesterday, when he came on, he was playing a midfield role, and it's probably the best I've seen. Si, signore, Bobby Firmino. He was electric again.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, we didn't get a
Yeah.
goal. Yes, he didn't change the game. He didn't get an assist. But James again, si signor, Bobby Firmino, absolutely electric.
Yeah, you know, he was creating so much yesterday. I think if Bobby had have started yesterday, I think that the chances that Nunez had, Bobby puts away, and I think the result would have been a different story. I mean, take nothing away from Nunez's Torres-esque attempt that Jordan Pickford pulled off a world-class save. You know, we can't take anything away from that.
World class.
But you know, I think for Wolves, you know, I think Bobby needs to start.
He does. I think we've got someone who wants to become a podcaster with us here, James the Brain. I think we're going to have to train her to be Kloppzone Kids podcasting channel. Let's start this up. But guess who's back in the building? Da-da, da-da. Remy, my arch nemesis, is back in the building. Firmino is still not consistent. I am happy that he's doing well, but he is still not good enough. I think if he gave fans a choice, they don't want Bobby for another 2-3 years being the main number 9. That's not what they want. But what it is, it's the fact that we're not giving him a chance to actually show what he gives to the team. We can't say that he's not good enough because, look, Bobby Firmino is number 2, everyone, in the form chart. So we can't go saying he's not good enough because he's our second best player this week. Last week, he was second as well. The week before that, he was number 1 in the chart. So we can't keep saying that Bobby is this, Bobby is that, when Bobby's turning up every single week. So cut Bobby some slack, people.
Yeah,
Cut
definitely.
Bobby some slack, James.
Yeah, the agenda that Bobby seems to have at the moment, I will never understand. Yes, we know he's not the goal scoring number 9 that we want, but he's probably the most unselfish person in the team. He would rather help Mo Salah get a hat trick or get an assist and score himself.
Yeah, I've got a great point here on Instagram as well, coming from Chip3957, who should be on our YouTube channel and hitting the like button and subscribing, but we'll let him off because it's a good comment. Chip is saying that he should have started. Yesterday, he should have started. Núñez didn't offer anything in terms of attack. He was just running into Salah's spaces. His first touch was off. He kicked his own shoe for a second.
Yeah, I think at one point as well, Núñez was out on the left-hand side instead of being central. Like I think at one point you've got Diaz and Núñez be like one after the other, and I'm like, why is Núñez not more central? You know, his height yesterday should have been used to his advantage more. And I think that the back post header that he had, where he just, you know, I think if he'd have had a little bit more time, maybe then it would have been a different story. But
I like this again from Sean Dot. Sean Dot brings this "Si Senor" song every week and applies it to whatever we're talking about. So I'm going to do it for you again, Sean Dot. There's something that the cup wants you to know. Remy supports the owners, that's for sure. All the time. Facts and stats will show you lying. Remy, Sean is trolling you, Remy. You've got to clap back at that. Let's get sharing this YouTube channel, says Sean Dot. Let's get to 1K by the end of this month. That would be an absolute dream. Look, we're already nearly, I think we might be at 500. We're very close. It's an absolute pleasure to just have you guys in. I love chatting with you. We love just having a laugh. That's what it's all about. Look, smiles on our faces, having a laugh about Liverpool, because we've got to laugh about something right now.
If we don't laugh, we'll probably cry.
Yes, if we didn't laugh, we would definitely cry.
Admittedly, Remy, if Bobby had have started, there's no guarantees he would have had the chances that Núñez had. But there could have been more chances created that Bobby would have taken.
Do you know what the thing is as well yesterday? If Bobby plays, there's more support for Carvalho and Elliott and Fabinho in that midfield, because Bobby would have been stronger defensively. He would have put more pressure on to try and win the ball back. He was fantastic when he came on. Unbelievable. So, look, I can't doubt him. But Bogdan's saying, to make us feel a bit better, Brighton are killing Leicester. Everyone's killing Leicester at the minute.
It's 2-2 at the minute.
going to get the sack. I think Rodgers might just walk out the door. I would if I was him.
I think Brendan Rodgers and Steven Gerrard are probably the two to get the sack for favourites to get the sack first.
Stevie G held on though. Stevie
I think
G,
the fact that he got
the draw,
which I will say Villa were robbed of a winner. Coutinho's goal was not offside, but we won't talk about that.
Yes, we will not talk about that. But that was our number 2. Yeah, Sean Dock, this is so true. If she did, she would be. I'm not even reading that out, you filthy little animal. Get her off my screen, Dave. Sean Dock with his smut. That's what it is, smut. So number 2, no mover this week was Bobby Firmino, which brings us to this week's number 1. I think everybody can work it out. Who's going to be number 1 this week? It is Alisson Becker! Alisson Becker in at number 1 this week. How could we not put Alisson Becker in at number 1? Bogdan called it. He did say Alisson Becker at number 1. James, always there when we need him most. And yesterday, boy, did we need him.
Oh, exactly. Alisson is the keeper that we were screaming out for so long when we had the likes of Mignolet and Karius and like goalkeepers like that. Alisson Becker, we can dominate a game and he could be stood around for 85 minutes with nothing to do. He comes up clutch every single time. Mopé's chance yesterday. I think if that's any of the keeper in the league, then it's 1-0 Everton, and Alisson just proves why he is worth the money that Liverpool paid for him. And I will be honest, when Liverpool played Roma that season, when we put 7 past them, and I'd seen the rumours that we were in for Alisson, and I was like, why are we buying a keeper that's just had 7 put past him? But I've lived to regret those words now.
Lived to regret those words, because Alisson Becker, in my opinion, pound for pound, after Virgil, I've got to say Virgil van Dijk, he's been our pound for pound number 1 ever since he arrived. But Alisson Becker comes second in that list for me.
Yeah.
Mo Salah, people might say, but up and down, highs and lows. This guy, Alisson Becker, is always on form, always there when we need him. Just like Van Diezy. Yeah, Van Diezy might have had one bad game against Mitrovic, but he might have got dribbled past by Zaha or whatever you want to say. But look, Alisson Becker and Van Dijk, without those, we have absolutely nothing. And that is a fact. So we all thank Klopp. We all thank Lindas and Henderson and FSG. Let's thank Alisson Becker and Virgil van Diezy. But James the Brain, that is the chat show for today. Tell people if you've got anything coming up, James. Anything you're excited about?
Ladies' night Friday night.
He loves ladies' night.
We got statistically speaking later on this week. I'm not sure when we're going to do it, because I don't know whether we'll do it ahead of the Wolves game or not. But it'll be some point this week. See me, Ash, and Jack break down the Everton game, preview Wolves, and and don't forget to subscribe. Where is it?
Subscribe.
There it is.
Do it right now.
Up there somewhere.
We're going to be doing so many shows this week. Statistically speaking is coming. There's Mock the Week tomorrow. We're going to be bringing you European Champions League show, new show. There's breaking news shows starting this week. We've got Culture Club. We've got Ladies' Night, Academy Radar, Reds Alert, Hype Station, and everything in between. There's so many. We literally jump on and just do a show for the sake of doing a show sometimes. But don't forget, every Sunday, you can guarantee that this is the show that's going to be here for you. The big LFC top 10. Later on this evening, I might jump back on. I'm going to put up on our Instagram stories a Q&A. So go and leave your questions over on our Instagram stories, and then we're going to come back later this evening or early tomorrow to do a Q&A show to answer your questions, to get you involved, and everything in between. But James the Brain, even though you was lurking backstage, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have my little superstar on here as well. Please come back next time. We'll do like
Don't tell her that.
Yeah, come back next time. We've got Kloppzone Kids coming soon. I'm telling you right now. Kloppzone Kids, guys, you all want to see it. Tell them. I'm going to have to change now the synopsis for this, so it's a child-friendly show now, because I clicked no before, but now it's child-friendly all of a sudden. But we love that. This has been the Top 10 show. It's been a pleasure. In at number 1 this week was Alison Becker. In at number 1 this week. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to be back later today, but as we always say on Kloppzone, it's been a pleasure. You'll never walk alone. Peace!